This week, Secretary of Homeland Security and unlikely brunette Kristi Noem released a new TSA video blaming Democrats for the government shutdown.
We will continue to do all that we can to avoid delays that will impact your travel. And our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government.
And then she kills a dog.
Love it or leave it.
Let's get into it. What a week! If you're listening to this on Saturday, hopefully you're on your way to one of the many No Kings protests planned across the country. Everybody here going? The protests were given a helpful marketing boost by the Speaker of the House and a guy that likes a firm, manly handshake because, boy, you've got a good grip there. Strong forearms. Wow. Mike Johnson.
I encourage you to watch. We call it the Hate America rally that'll happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxist in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic. And we do.
Interestingly, Marxist on full display is Mike Johnson's top search term on his secret iPad. President Trump, for his part, suggested on Wednesday that nobody would be there at all.
You know, they have their day coming up. I hear very few people are going to be there, by the way. But they have their day coming up, and they want to have their day in the sun.
Which is a helpful reminder for this weekend. Solidarity can stop fascism, but only sunscreen can prevent fine lines and wrinkles. You're not much use to the resistance if you're dealing with a squamous cell carcinoma. The last No Kings protest saw roughly 4 to 6 million people turn out, and Trump's crackdown has only escalated since then. On Monday, Speaker Johnson jumped in to help justify Trump's deployment of the National Guard to Portland.
You know, most recently, the most threatening thing I've seen yet was the naked bicyclers in Portland who were protesting ICE down there. I mean, it's getting really ugly.
Okay. The moral of that joke is that the protests aren't scary, that they're silly, right? That doesn't make sense. He's supposed to be defending them, but he's making a joke about how they're silly. I also dare you to think of anything less threatening than a naked person on a bicycle. Being balls out on a bicycle is the most vulnerable thing a person can be. The only one who should be afraid of a naked cyclist is the next person who has to ride that bicycle. And Johnson isn't wrong that it's ugly. Balls on a bicycle seat, one to each side of the saddle, like South American boleadoras connected by loose scrotum. On second thought, maybe we should send in the troops. Speaking of yuck, Politico published an expose this week on the racist, anti-Semitic, and misogynist text exchange in a Telegram chat filled with young Republican leaders. Also in the chat, unbeknownst to anyone, Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. Unbelievable. In the chat, these youngish Republicans joked about slavery and the Holocaust, praised Hitler, and discussed raping their enemies and driving them to suicide. And if you think that sounds bad in a group chat, wait until you read it in Project 2029. Just to note, young Republicans isn't just what these guys hoped for on Hinge before being banned after asking women for their skull diameter and flow volume, but rather a tax-exempt organization for Republicans aged 18 all the way to 40. 40 is a young Republican. In one exchange, the general counsel for the New York Young Republicans joked, "Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic." I know this isn't the point, but gas chambers absolutely fit the Hitler aesthetic. The showers were the gas chambers. A real Hitler fan would know that. Vice President Jimmy Dimmy Vance rushed to condemn the chat's vile content. Just kidding. He pointed to a Democrat who also did a bad thing, Virginia Attorney General nominee Jay Jones, whose recently leaked text showed him wishing for the former Republican Virginia House Speaker's kids to die so she might change her mind and move on policy. And to be clear, that is bad and very stupid. But fun fact about Jay Jones, he's 36, which is only one single year older than the oldest young Republican in that chat. Another fun fact, Jay Jones was once pulled over for doing 116 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. But in fairness to him, he was rushing home to celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. Posted Vance, this is far worse than anything said in a college group chat, and the guy who said it could become the AG of Virginia. I refuse to join the pearl clutching when powerful people call for political violence. But you don't have to clutch your pearls or claim two wrongs make a right. You just have to say that Nazis and bigots have no place in the Republican Party. Seems like something you'd want to say if it were something you believed, but what do I know? I'm just a Jewish fagot. On Wednesday, Vance doubled down, saying on the Charlie Kirk show,
I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys, don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do.
Sure. Every kid goes through a phase where they praise Hitler. It's not a problem unless they all do it at once. And sure, the young Republicans who have been identified from the chat are well over college age. But you know what? I think JD has a point here. And we too were so moved by the plight of these young Republicans who obviously just need loving parents to teach them how to be human beings, that tonight we're hosting Love It or Leave It's first annual Young Republican Adopt-a-thon. Behind the 5 o'clock shadow and jokes about monkey people lies the young, hopeful heart of a child in need of love. So please reach out if you can to adopt these Republican kids. Babies like this guy. Or sweet little tykes like him. If you act now, we'll also send this little bundle of joy to your home with a gaming chair and a gaming chair cleaning wand. For the price of just 1 cup of coffee per day, you can buy this little youngster 1 cup of coffee per day. Whether they're 27 or 35, every child needs a home. So why not yours? Because if there's anything more epic than rape, which was a literal thing one of these guys said, it's taking in a sweet, innocent child who desperately needs love. Because children are our future. But these kids are our shameful, terrible past. While excusing these adults, just this week, the administration revoked visas from 6 people over comments they made about Charlie Kirk's death on social media. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but Republicans pushed me too far. It's time for the nuclear option, pointing out their hypocrisy. It's going to work this time. My question for JD Vance is, what if they'd been joking about gas chambers instead? Would that have been okay? Is it okay to joke about wanting to watch people burn as long as they aren't people you personally know? To quote Trump to his old friend Jeffrey Epstein, none of these people are actually children, right? It's 2025. We've all been on the internet for a quarter century. We don't have to pretend we don't see how ironically joking about horrific things can open the cultural door to horrific beliefs. If we want a culture that values free speech, it also has to model the values that moderate that speech. Tolerating disagreement, criticizing friends, forgiving enemies, saying sorry, showing forbearance. These are democratic practices that undergird the protections of the First Amendment. If we want the ice cream shop to keep giving out free samples, we can't all walk in there and ask for 15 samples, and we certainly can't do it while calling the ice cream scooper retarded. If we want an office culture where everyone can bring their dogs in, those of us with dogs have to be ready to clean up some dog piss, Jon Lovett. Who added this? And we know JD Vance gets this because he extends all of those graces to his friends who deserve space to make mistakes and apologize, while the rest of us are Antifa demons because we're going to go hold a cardboard sign that says monarchy hard pass while shaking a cowbell on Saturday. And I know Vance is full of shit. I know it. I know he knows he's full of shit. But this is the problem, because if we're going to spend our lives arguing with liars, as is my current plan, Maybe it's a waste of time to make the earnest case. Maybe that's a trap, but I don't really care because it's not just that they're full of shit. They're trying to convince the rest of us that everybody is full of shit and nobody cares, but that isn't true. Love It or Leave It is brought to you by Bombas. Fall is here, kids are back, and school vacation is over, and it's officially the start of course, cozy season, which means time to slide into Bombas. You know Bombas, the most comfortable socks and slippers out there, made from premium materials that actually make sense for this time of year. Bombas are made from the softest materials. Merino wool that keeps you warm when it's chilly but cool when it's hot. Supima cotton that's softer, stronger, and more breathable than regular cotton. And even rag wool, the thick, durable, classic sock you'll want all fall. And it's not just socks. Bombas designed slippers that make it hard to leave the house. From Sherpa-lined Sunday slippers to packing-friendly gripper slippers and even waterproof EVA Friday slides. I have the slides and I love them. I genuinely do. I wear them all the time around the house and I wear them to wear Pilates. Answer was Pilates. Best part, for every item you buy, Bombas donates one to someone experiencing homelessness. Over 150 million items have been donated thanks to customers. And with their happiness guarantee, if you're not 100% into what you've got, they'll make it right. No risk, all reward. Plus, they're available through international shipping to over 200 countries. I love Bombas. I'm wearing Bombas right now. I wear them just about every single day. They are the most comfortable socks. They feel like they're actually made with purpose. Like they know what they're doing. They're thinking about socks. They're not just like kind of,
They're grounded.
Yeah, for sure. Grounded. And it's not like just a made up set of syllables on an Amazon thing where it's Kobiba socks. And you're like, that's just somebody making up a sock name. That's just a SEO fake thing. These are real. Someone really thought about these socks. They're made well. They're great.
They're great socks. Love them.
Head on over to bombas.com/loveit. Use the code LOVEIT for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/loveit. Code LOVEIT at checkout. Love It or Leave It brought to you by Helix. Tell my audience about my experience with Helix mattresses. Don't mind if I do. Love it. Love my Helix mattress. Super comfortable. I sleep on it every goddamn night in my life. And do I sometimes struggle to sleep? You bet. It has nothing to do with the mattress. Nothing to do with the mattress.
Mattress is great.
It's not the mattress's fault. The mattress isn't in charge of what happens in the world.
That's right.
The mattress isn't responsible. It's the best thing I've got going. You need a perfect mattress so you know what to blame for your sleep problems. It's definitely not my bed. It's everything else. There's no better way to test out a mattress than by sleeping on it. That's why Helix offers a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. Everybody's unique. Everybody sleeps differently. That's why Helix has several different mattress models to choose from, each designed for specific sleep positions and field preferences. Take the Helix sleep quiz and you'll find the perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. That's what I did. I was matched with the Dawn Luxe plush but firm. It's great when I'm sleeping on my side, my back, on my stomach. You know? What's that position called? It's not prone. What's the difference between prone and prostrate? Which one's, I think prone. I'm sleeping in a prone position. Your personalized mattress shipped straight to your door. Go to helixsleep.com/loveit for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/loveit for 20% off site-wide. And the shipping is free. I think I skipped that. The shipping is free. So make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/loveit. This week, Secretary of Homeland Security and unlikely brunette, Kristi Noem, released a new TSA video blaming Democrats for the government shutdown.
It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. We will continue to do all that we can to avoid delays that will impact your travel. And our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government.
And then she kills a dog. New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Las Vegas, Charlotte, Phoenix, Seattle, Cleveland, among many airports, dozens, that refuse to play this ad to captive travelers waiting in security lines because it's obviously partisan and because she's framed terribly in it. What is that shot? It's not a close-up. It's not a medium shot. Just terrible. Skin looks good, though. Wonder whose it is. Stupid. America's defense secretary and guy who still goes through the motions is saying, you know what, make it a double, as if it just occurred to him, Pete Hegseth, tried to bully journalists at the Pentagon into signing on to new press rules that would threaten reporters' ability to do basic news gathering. Every major outlet, from CBS to The Times all the way to Fox News and Newsmax, told the Pentagon to fuck off. About 50 reporters walked out together at 4 p.m. because there are $1 taquitos till 5 p.m. at the Crystal City Mall, but also in this case out of solidarity. Does this mean Pete will be doing a bunch of exclusives with outlets like the Trump Has a Giant Dick Tribune? And this is actually a twisted cross and not a swastika because a swastika is bent to the right Gazette? Sure, but we can't control what they do, only what we do. Trump's weaponization of the government has only just begun. On Wednesday, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Trump administration is planning to install political allies at the IRS's criminal division and has already generated a list of left-wing donors and organizations it plans to target. "It's time," said Ben, removing the lone pint of cyanide swirl surprise from the recesses of the freezer and handing Jerry the ritual onyx spoon. Trump is also using the shutdown to continue firing federal workers. This week, the administration gutted the Office of Special Education Programs, which is so sad. It took them twice as long to send the employees home because their buses are half as long. Do you ever stop to think that I'm brave? Did that occur to you at all? But a federal judge put a temporary stop to Trump's efforts to lay off 4,000 federal workers, in part because of how brazenly and openly political the administration has been. They just had to be 10% less gleeful. Just had to do that thing where you're laughing, but you're in synagogue, so you turn it into a cough. Couldn't do it. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene has had enough.
Prices have not come down at all.
The job market is weakening.
Job market is still extremely difficult.
Right.
Wages have not gone up. Health insurance premiums are going to go up. Car insurance goes up every year. People's homeowners insurance goes up. Rent is going up. Young people have no hope of buying a home.
If she doesn't bring up a suspiciously burly lady she saw in a women's room soon, I'm gonna have to propose marriage. And I've done that twice before, so you know I'm getting good at it. Greene also said this in the same conversation with Tim Dillon.
I've been in the Capitol. There's two things I couldn't find this week. I couldn't find anywhere the Epstein files, and I also couldn't find the Republican plan to fix the absolutely destroyed health insurance industry.
She did say she found a scrap of paper with a Jewish spell for causing plane crashes, so that's troubling, but I'll take the win. We got to take the win. The truth is, being a Democrat right now, you feel like you were patiently waiting for a parking spot with your blinker on, and then some asshole jumped in front of you and tries to steal your spot, but you dart forward, and nobody's in the spot. And then when you point out that you were waiting, they attack you. Plus, the old guy who swore he was okay to drive and promised to hold the space for you drove his car into a convenience store while on the phone with Benjamin Netanyahu. And the other car, they're kicking your ass. They're calling you stupid. They're calling you ugly. They're making fun of your hairline. They're saying horrible things you would never even think of saying. And you're the one whose parking spot got stolen. And sure, you know they're fundamentally miserable and their kids don't call and they're going to the grocery store for the first time in 20 years after a completely bloodless divorce. But that doesn't help you in the moment. How do you fight someone who doesn't believe in the rules or even basic social compact? How do you fight someone who's willing to act like this without losing your mind? The answer is, it's not about you. It's not about each of us as individuals. It's about strength in numbers. Someone will come stand behind you and point out that you were here first. And then another person backs you up, and another, and soon there's a little crowd behind you. And with each person, your outrage transforms into connection and gratitude. They saw it too. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're buoyed and you're powerful. Does it mean the asshole backs down? Maybe, maybe not. Some people are shameless. Some people get off on taking up space. Some people cannot imagine a world where they are not the victims. We can't control the assholes, but if we have each other's backs, we have a fighting chance. And that's what the No Kings protest is all about. So I will see you there. I'll be there. I'll be one of the people with an overly clever sign like, "We feel as bad as Trump looks in his Time magazine cover photo." I just want to say, they got him. I mean, that sucks. That sucks. I have other ideas for signs. More like Mike No Johnson. Jeffrey Epstein lives for drama. Department of Just D's Nuts. There's no Planet B, just Planet D. D's Nuts. Where are we all going to the bathroom? Turn the sign over. Seriously, it's on my mind. I'm worried about it. How are we not talking about this? And finally, the only ice we need is for Trump's gigantic ankles. All right, let's leave it there.